and we'll get this thing going. All right. Welcome, everybody. Sorry for the delay. Hey, this is John, and we're Wake Up or Else, and we're here today in the middle of the day with none other than Dave Weiss, or commonly known as Flat Earth Dave. Is that right, Dave?
Yes, absolutely.
Dave is out there in the marketplace making a big noise on this topic, and I don't know about you guys, but I've watched I don't know how many hours of Dave's stuff. He's on a lot of platforms, and his content it's just next level. And so what I'm going to ask Dave to do, first of all, is just introduce himself to our community, and just tell us, Dave, about the app, first of all, which is really ingenious. It's brilliant. And then your best website, and then we can get into some content.
John, first I want to say I love the name of your podcast, Wake Up or Else. That's the theme of everything I talk about. Wake up or else. Am I allowed to say you're okay? Whatever. I won't say the word, but you're effed. Wake up or else. So you can find all my stuff, all my channels, my YouTube channel. This is a good short one here. DITRH stands for Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole. Everything's at flatearthdave.com. That's the only thing you have to remember. And real quick about the app, it is the solution to Google censorship. If you want to learn about flat Earth, you want to learn about anything, a lot of these topics, you're not going to find them. All real flat Earth videos are hidden on YouTube. You'll only find, like, you search Dave Weiss flat Earth proof, Dave Weiss interview, whatever. It's going to feed you propaganda that has nothing to do with me. It's crazy. So real quick, I won't go over too much on the app because it does too much.
No, take your time. Daily video. Really fine. Go ahead and take your time, because this is a resource that is next level for just exactly what you're saying. We're all going to have to come up with strategies to work around the censorship. So I'm really psyched for you to share with us.
If somebody says, "Hey, Dave, send me a video on how the sun sets on a flat Earth, or time zones or seasons," and I send them a link, anyone sends someone a link to a video, they'll watch that video, and then after that, YouTube's algorithm is going to feed them nonsense trying to debunk it, no matter what. So on the app, it doesn't do that. Like, every day, there's a daily video here, and I have my 3 Bitcoin challenge. One glow proof, you win 3 Bitcoins. But the first thing is, so you don't waste my time, is you got to watch the daily video each day. While you're having your breakfast, whatever, just watch your daily video, short ones during the week usually. And for 2 weeks, at the end of that 2 weeks, if you think you have a glow proof, send it to me. But before you do, go to the frequently asked questions, the question mark, and up come the frequently asked questions. Why would they lie? Or what about circumnavigation? Hit that up come video after video after video that YouTube will not serve you. It does all of that. It shows you how the sky clock moves. It'll educate you. And for those of you that are already understanding that the heliocentric space ball is scientifically impossible, you'll be able to have quick resources at your fingertips. For example, if I hit this little color image wheel, up come a bunch of pictures, and you can say, I want to teach someone about southern flight routes. So I type in SOU. Oh, there it is, right there. And here are all the southern flight routes. So you can show people, the problem with the globe and how everything works perfectly on a flat Earth. Everything is at your fingertips. So just the images section alone, like, let's say another one would be, what about, Mars images? And so you pull this up and you have this, you say, is this Mars? No, this is Mars. This is Devon Island. Do you see the difference? You can show people, Werner von Braun wrote a book in 1957 when he was a Nazi rocket scientist in Russia, called Project Mars, about a group of people that went to Mars led by a guy named Elon. Okay. 1957. So again, our entire reality is not real. A new feature on the app, which you may not be aware of, is if I hit the search, the little magnifying glass, video search. You say, I saw that video. I'm trying to remember what it was. It was like, let's say, it was the one where I flipped the ISS upside down, and for that guy. And all I remember about the video is the guy's name was Cheeks. So you can just type in Cheeks. Let's see if this works. CHEEKS. let's see. Let's see if this works. And boom, there it is. There's the clip and the full interview. And so all the videos are easily findable just through the video series. Isn't that nice? It's super nice. And then for books, all these books, amazing books, kids books, and we're going to talk about this book in a moment. And when we get into the maps, the Navigator Who Crossed the Ice Wall. I love it. I say it's the story of Star Wars, but instead of having it in a scientifically impossible space vacuum, it's here on a flat, level, scientifically possible Earth. Whether it's true or not, you make up your own mind. It rings, there's a lot of truth in it. It rings truth to me. Homeschool section, you want to go down some rabbit holes, I recommend the My Lunch Break, mind-blowing. Jake, I'm the Improbable Dreamer. You want to save yourself some money, right? The number one depopulation method of the elite is financial fear for having kids, right? Either you don't have kids or you don't have more kids because, oh, college, I can't afford college. And, so that's the number one thing. Here's the thing. If you're saving for college, if you've saved for college, if you have kids that are getting ready to go to college, don't send them to college. Take that money and find out what they're interested in and start a business or anything. But here's their college, Crow University, CRROW777.com. No, Crow777radio.com. Have you ever, do you listen to Crow? Do you know about Crow?
I don't know.
So it's an audio podcast, and I say listen to one or two. I think there's one new episode a week, and then listen to 4 old ones. There's almost 500 now. And at the end of a week, but let's say at the end of a couple of months, you're going to be more educated for this world than any college will get you ready to. And they have stuff from flat Earth to health to taxes to law, everything, and it's all fascinating. And that is going to make you a more viable person. And guess what? It's $8 a month. He doesn't offer financing. Okay. You don't have to get a FAFSA loan. You don't have to do any of that stuff. You just get this. And I'm telling you, I know I've been saying this for years, and I've gotten messages from people that have done this, and they're like, "Oh my God, thank you so much. This is amazing." And it literally, college is a scam. And think about this: even if you're broke and you have 5 kids, guess what? They all get to go to college because they want them in debt and they want them indoctrinated. They want them brainwashed. They want them believing the nonsense, and they want them as good little worker slaves. As Rockefeller said, I don't want a nation of thinkers. I want a nation of workers, right? So again, this world is not what you think it is. It's way better. It's amazing. And that's on the app. What else do I have on the app? We got there's all sorts of stuff. I mean, I got a lot of
memes. Go to the meme section. That's really cool. Where you got just the graphic with a caption.
Here, so you can just go in here. There's lots of stuff, but if you want ones that are memes, just type in meme. Most of them, I mean, they're all technically memes. Yeah. But there's just so many. So you got all sorts of stuff, and you can just flip through them by yourself with a friend. It'll make you smarter. It'll make you friends. And you could also say, you know what? My friend just asked me about satellites. So you can type in
there you go.
Satellites.
That's really useful.
Satellites,
like you said, and
then you say. Yeah,
the algorithm cuts us out. It doesn't let us find stuff. So this is a really great resource.
Right. Select images, and you can select up to 5 images, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you can say, I'm going to send them to whatever. You can send them, and just like you send anything else. So again, it's for sharing, it's for waking people up, and it shows you. It just everything about it works. It's amazing. People
explain to Dave the finding other people function. That's pretty brilliant.
Yeah. So it's called the Friend Finder. Now, the Friend Finder is better than any dating site, any job matching site, anything. Because every blue dot on here, I just went to Flattoberfest, which was our international conference in Las Vegas. 500 people. Every single person you talk into, you have more in common with them than any dating site will ever put you together with. You have more in common with them with anything. In 2014, people are like, "Oh, you're a flat earther. Good luck getting a job." Check this out. We don't want to work with flat earthers. We don't want to work with globe earthers. We only want to work with flat earthers. Let's say I was hiring somebody for whether it's from landscaping to a restaurant to bookkeeping, social media, whatever. And whatever I got. And I've got 10 applicants, and they're all well-educated, and they're all qualified for the job equally, except one of them who's slightly less qualified. He just less experience, but he's the only flat earther. Guess who's getting hired?
Yep.
Okay. Not the other guys. Not the other guys. And so here are the people just around me. I can send a radius message out to them. I could select 50 kilometers, 10 kilometers, and say, hey, I'm having a meetup at Joe's Bar and Grill. And bam, we did it last April, and we had how many people have show up? We had like 75, 80 people show up.
How do you track that? Because I just enrolled, but I don't remember putting in my state or location. Right?
So, well, no, because it's using your approximate location. See this button right here? It says approximate location. If I click the top button, it's going to say, "Are you sure you want to reveal your your exact location?" And by the way, if you have a smartphone, your location is being reported every step you take. You know how Apple AirTags work? Apple AirTag connects to your phone. It uses your phone's exact location and says this tag is here, whether it's your AirTag or not. Every time an Apple AirTag or something like that goes by you, it's being reported your exact location. So if you think that my phone, my app is going to track you, you're wrong. The opposite is true. My app obscures your location by 5 miles. Okay. So when you hit I say, no, I don't want to reveal so it has me within 5 miles randomly every time I open it up. So it actually makes it harder for people to track you. But if you're really worried about it, you can always hit the old off button, okay, and turn it off.
All right, hold on a second. Hold on a second.
Yeah. I'm on fire here.
Hold on a second. If I want to hire a contractor, I go on here. How do I find a guy that's on there that's a contractor?
Well, before, you could say, all right, I want a contractor, got to be within a certain distance. So you go to the settings and you turn on the location and say, 50 kilometers. I can go within 50 kilometers, save. And it's going to draw a circle 50 kilometers around. It can tell me how many people are in that circle. Now, you can send a mass message out to all of them, but that's not really what it's for. The mass messages are for, you need to include that most people aren't contractors. It's like, hey, we're having a meetup or this or that, or you're looking for an answer to something.
Right.
But what you do is you go into the profile section. So you hit the profile.
Mm-hmm.
And up comes my profile. Now, the profile section's new. People are just learning about it, and people are putting in the keywords. So here's my profile. I got all sorts of information about me. So let's say I want to find a kite surfer, because I want to find other kite surfers. So I can type in kite surfer, kite rider. No, let's try that. SURFING. Kite surfing. Let's see. Look,
you guys love Dave. Dave is awesome, man.
So this is finding people that have kite surfing listed. So now I can find people, but let's say I want to be more specific. Let's say I want to move to Florida. So I'll type in real estate broker.
All right, this is crazy.
And then Florida. Okay, and up come people. Now again, a lot of this is they're probably not exact matches, but I'm going to teach people how to put the proper terms in there. So over the next year, it's going to get better and better and better, because people are going to know, hey, I want people to know that I'm a kite surfer, that I'm a real estate broker, that I'm in Connecticut. And so you put those things in there. And so when people start searching for them, they can pull you up. So it's kind of amazing. So there's my circle, 50 kilometers. I can hit over, whoops, let me show you that better. I can hit over here, which is my radius. It says there's 590 people. 590. I can send them a message. Hey, I'm having a meetup at Rico's Bar and Grill at Saturday at 4 p.m. and put in all the details. Send, and every one of them gets a message.
Come on, man. Are you serious? You could send bulk messages to the people?
Bulk messages. And if you have over 20 referrals, if you referred over 20 people, you can go up to 100 kilometers.
All right, hold on. On that note, my referral code is wake up.
No spaces. Okay, wake up. Yeah. So if you download the app, by the way, let me full disclosure, people, before you freak out. The app is $3. Okay, $3, and you get everything, and you'll even can receive messages. You can open up the friend finder, but if you want to send messages, if you want to do video calls, if you want to use the interactive games which are coming, and a few other things. You have to subscribe, and the subscription is $11 a year. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm not spending $11 a year on a subscription. Who wants a round of shots? Okay, that'll be $130.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right. So again, it's $11 a year, or if you got 11 referrals, up here is the referral section, and I have 83 referrals, so I can just subtract 11 from that and buy a year's subscription. So I make it very easy, and people say, "Well, Dave, why are you charging for that?" Because all of the features that need the subscription are features that use data that cost me money, and it costs me more than $3. No, I'm just explaining. I like explaining. It costs me more than the $3 than you paid for the app. So if you subscribe, yeah. So there it is, and people that are out there looking for truth, Google's not going to find it for you. So I found it for you. It's all here on the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app. Forget about the name. Hard to remember. FlatEarthDave.com. Click the link. Android, Apple. It's only for mobile phones and tablets.
Let me make a statement. If you're a content creator, there's really only 4 models. Okay, the first model is you're independently wealthy, and you have tons of money, and you just do this out of passion. The second model is you have a subscription-based, subscriber-based. They pay you a monthly amount to listen to you. The third one is donations, like a ministry. And the fourth one is you upsell your subscribers something. You create something value. Yeah. Right. And they are willing, like you got t-shirts, you got merch. Everybody is okay with that, right? So
you know what?
This thing is a phenomenal resource, man. It could be a profit center for you, and no one would think anything of it. Okay.
Well, the globe trolls, the flat Earth internet, paid or possessed, doesn't make a difference to me. People that Google will serve to you, they're like, Dave's a grifter. He's ripping people off. Yeah, I'm ripping off $3 for something that really helps you, saves you time, gives you what you want. Right. But meanwhile, they're like, send me super chats. Send me. So people are sending them $20 super chats for what? What is that $20? That's the app 7 times over.
Right.
But speaking of t-shirts, like this one, this is new. Level Earther.
Yeah, man. Yeah, those are cool because that, I like to activate my platform mission statement is that we've been listening long enough. So it's time for people to get into the game, and t-shirts is one way that you can activate people. Let me just go into some content here because we don't want to. We want to.
Go ahead. I'm listening. I was just gonna say, I have my t-shirt shop is right here. So anyone that's like, where's that t-shirt? Or just go to flatearthdave.com, click the shirts, and there's tons of stuff. Scroll through them all, lots of new stuff, fun. And again, my t-shirt prices, I keep them as low as I can because I want people to have the t-shirts.
Right.
So there you go.
All right. Well, listen, man, we don't want to squander you. You are a resource.
Yeah.
And what I've been thinking about this interview is, there's a ton of flat Earth empirical evidences that you could bring forward that probably are new to a lot of us because I'm watching you and I'm like, boom, that is so key. So obvious, right? But what I'd like to try to do is just kind of nibble around the edges a little bit today and talk about some of the things, that are not flat Earth proofs necessarily, because you're on this journey deep down into this hole. So you probably looked into these because in my view, the conversation shouldn't go past the fact that you could see 50 or 100 miles anywhere you go, right? If the Earth is round, why is it flat? The conversation should end right there, right? That should be the end of the day. So why? My first question is, what is it about the mind control component that blocks people from accepting the obvious?
That's a great question, man. It's they know how to cast spells and really know how to wrap your mind around a belief system. From religion to scientism, something they have control over you. But the thing is, with science, actual science, flat earthers use actual science. We can scientifically prove that the globe is false. Now, do we know exactly what the Earth is? Nope, but we've got a good idea. Right here, I'm showing a picture. If you can make it big. This is Mount San Jacinto. People have taught me how to say the name, and I just give up. It's San Jacinto. Okay, whatever it is. And this is through his infrared. Now from Malibu, there should be over 7,000 feet of curvature. I believe this mountain is just over 7,000, so we should just see the very tip right here. But we can see the whole thing. Now take off that infrared lens, and all you see here is blue sky, and you don't see the mountain.
Yep.
And you go, well, that's because the mountain's behind a curve. Well, what is infrared doing? Is infrared diving over the curve and looking at the mountain down the side? No, it's not. So there's no curve. So I actually posted on my my personal Facebook today. I said, all spheres don't have any curvature, just like the Earth. And I showed this is an example. This is 700 miles. We can see all of these mountains. And now using the Earth curve calculator, globe Earth curve calculator, the most conservative one, the tops of all these mountains should be over 40 miles below a physical curve. Below a physical curve.
Yep.
They're there. We can see them. And you know what mainstream science says about this? You know?
Well, sure. They're going to tell you that it's atmospheric lensing or atmospheric looming.
Nope. You're wrong. They won't touch it. They pretend it doesn't exist. They won't even. The math. They won't even. Can't attack the math. We use the Pythagorean theorem. Okay, we can see it. They won't address it. It's amazing, right? So they're unwillingness to address certain things. You know, doesn't make it doesn't make it real.
Well, let's talk about that. That is a big response because I did a video where I took Rob Skiba's video where he rented a boat, right? And he went across Lake Michigan to prove it wasn't atmospheric lensing.
It wasn't a mirage.
And that pretty much nails it because if it was an atmospheric thing, it would have disappeared in transit, but it didn't. So
100%.
Because the math on it actually goes in our favor, right? Because lensing or looming actually would make the image bend down towards the surface, and it's a very small, maybe 2%. So what we're being asked to accept, like with the newscaster guy, this is a mirage. The reason you can see the entire, Chicago skyline is it's a mirage. Okay, so bro, you're trying to tell me that the entire image of a city is going around corners, 1,600 feet of curvature if it's like 50 miles. Yeah, that's what we're being asked to believe. Now, there's guys on YouTube that are like math guys, and they're laying out complex formulas which are supporting this. So they are going for it. They're going for the idea that you can see around corners now. So how do you respond to that?
You can't see around corners. See, you can't see around that corner. You can't. Right? I don't care if you have the Hubble Space Telescope, right? You can't see around that corner. Flip it around and say that's Earth curvature. Imagine I put a ball on top of the hill and I rolled it down. As soon as it's going to disappear from the bottom up, down there, over a curve. Hey, wait a minute. If a ball goes over a curve, disappears from the bottom up, that means the Earth is a ball. No, there's a million other reasons, or several other reasons, why things disappear from the bottom up. And once you understand that, once you get out of your Earth is a ball, don't touch my ball, then you'll understand how that works. Let's since we touched on that, let's go there. Let's go there. Perspective. So first, you have to remember that when we see the sun on the horizon, does that mean it's below the clouds? Well, looks like it's below the clouds, right?
The sun on the
horizon. When you see let's say there's some cloud deck in the sky and we see the sun just on the horizon below the clouds.
I see. Yep.
Is the sun below those clouds from your, in your physical reality? I don't want to say your point of view. Is the sun below the clouds? And some people say, well, the Earth is a globe. It is going down. And I guess those clouds are higher because if I drew a line from my eyes to the sun, that's kind of going straight. If I drew a line from my eyes to the clouds, they're going up. Yeah, the sun is below it. So,
well, let me just answer the question. If we were on a spinning ball, what they would be asking us to believe is that we're on the ball and we're looking across the surface as far as we could see, and the sun is at alignment with the planet, but the clouds are still above that,
tangent
but
to
the
our
sun's
feet,
93 million miles away.
yeah,
right?
tangent to our feet. So here's how we
Right.
see, though. I got 3 lines here: yellow, orange, and red. Which is the higher line?
Well, I've seen this, so I can't say.
Yeah, and which is the longer line, right? So if we look, this bush is 5 feet above the deck. So this is 5 feet.
Yep.
This line is on the deck. So that's 5 feet below this line. And this is on the water surface, which is 10 feet below this line. So this line is 15 feet below this line.
Below, and look, wait, I don't understand. The yellow line is above the red line.
This is on the water surface. The water is 15 feet below or 10 feet below this deck, and another 5 feet.
Oh, I
the
see.
deck is 5
Okay,
feet
I
below
gotta
that.
flip it in my
So
brain. Okay, so right, the water is
the water
below the
is
ground.
well, this deck is level, and the beach and the water are 10 feet below the deck.
Okay, I got you.
And the water is level. This deck is 5 feet below this top of this bush.
Yep.
So this line, the yellow line, is 15 feet lower than this line. Hard to deal. And then when we understand distances, this is 5 feet, this is about 15 feet, and this is about 2 miles.
Isn't it a conflict when they tell you you can see the boats going over the curve? So meaning you can see the curve about 3 miles away from you, but they can go up 100 miles, not 100 miles, 100,000 feet, and they'll tell you you still can't see the curve because you're not high enough.
Right.
Isn't that completely ridiculous?
Ridiculous. This is, I think it's the sun with a filter. And it's just going away. It's just going away. So, so here is, this line is level. I'm just looking at it from a terrestrial point of view. This line here, if you can see it, is the same line. And I'm looking at it from a celestial point of view. Okay. So this is the sun just going away. It looks like it's going below this, but here it's hard to see. It's staying above that the whole time. It all depends on your angle of view. Make sense?
Right. So much of this is just lesser magic, that they're taking these conditions of our construct and they're playing them against us.
What do you see here?
All right, a guy's fishing, and then there's a boat in the distance, and the sun's in the sky.
Is the water higher or lower than the pier that he's standing on?
Lower would be my first.
Well, that would be your first response. Otherwise, water would flow up onto the pier, and then the boat is sitting on the water, and the sky, the clouds are above the sky. Do you see the building? Do you see the 50-story building in this picture?
I do not.
Okay.
Or unless he's standing on it. Yeah.
Do you see it now?
Yes.
So now we're looking up.
Right.
So, we sure we're not looking straight out? So we're looking up now. Look, there goes the sun. So let's say it's noon right now. You're on the street in New York City, and you're looking at the sun, and the sun just slowly drifts away, and it goes beyond the building. So my question to you is the sun below the horizon now, or is it beyond the building?
Beyond
we're
the
looking
building.
up. It's beyond the building. So how could you see it again? There's 2 ways. One, get a balloon, float up. You can see it. Or let's pretend there's farmland behind you, and you can just walk backwards until the building gets low enough point of view, and then you'll be able to see it again, right?
Mm-hmm.
You with me?
Yep.
So here is our perspective point of view. You've probably seen this, but so we got a guy. Here's his eye level. Everything merges to the center. This is how we see. This is not a conspiracy theory. This is the truth. And so I throw a mountain in here. What can we say about this mountain?
Is
it higher or it's higher than him? Thousands of feet above his eye line. So there's the sun. Did the sun go below the horizon or beyond the mountain?
Beyond the mountain.
And he can go up or backwards and see it again. So if we make him go backwards, the mountain gets smaller, and there's the sun again. This line right here, even though it looks like it's at his eye level, is thousands of feet above his eye line. You can go out into nature and do this yourself. Go out, like I can look down Long Island Sound and see New York City, and the tops of the buildings look like they're at my eye level. It's only 25 miles away. Maybe
all right,
30.
this is brilliant, but let me ask you to do this for us. So based on what you just showed us, how does that then relate to what we're seeing when we see a sunset? What are we getting wrong? Or in other words, we're coming to the sunset with a preset paradigm, what we've been told to believe. You're on a ball, it's spinning, and because it's spinning, the sun, right? But what's really happening?
I'm gonna bring you the whole thing together. So the sun goes away. Now, did it go below the horizon or beyond that mountain, which is thousands of feet above his eye level? Beyond. All right. So now we add some clouds, put the sun back up here, and the clouds are all merging into that same horizontal eye zone, right? This horizontal eye zone. That's how we see things, with a horizontal eye zone. So the sun goes away. Is it going beyond or below? Going beyond.
Yep.
All right. So now go back. What can we say about this line here? This line is the top of the mountain, which is thousands of feet over his eyes. This line is also the clouds, the atmosphere merging together, which is thousands of feet above the mountain.
Yep.
So that is thousands, 5,000, 10,000 feet above his eye line, but he sees it as his eye line, his horizontal eye zone.
Woo! Come on, you guys. This is off the charts. So profoundly simple, yet it totally dispels what we've been told our whole life. And if you do this right now, you can Google on your phone the top 10 proofs that the earth is round, and the first one will be the boats go over the curve. That's mainstream science telling you. This is the astrophysicists with the PhDs, by the way, telling you the number one proof that officialdom has to prove the world is a round ball is the boats go over the curve. Is that right?
That is the number one thing that people resort to, that both boats go over the curve. So here is another way to look at it. So these streetlights are all at the same height, but they merge into the horizontal eye zone. Okay. So here we go. I'm just gonna go through this.
The horizontal eye zone. Is that what you said?
That's what I'm saying. It sounds like another word, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
It sounds just like curve eye zone, right? No, it's horizontal.
Right.
Not no, there's no curve eye zone.
These are important terms.
Horizontal eye zone. All right.
Okay, go ahead.
So here's this guy's horizontal eye zone, his horizon. Here's a cloud up in the sky. If he looks up to that cloud and draws a string from his eyes to the cloud, it goes up almost straight up. If it was the one behind him, it'll go straight up. So as these clouds go into the distance, they merge into the horizontal eye zone, right? So it's hard to see, but this cloud here is merged into the horizon. And now if he looks at it and Drew actually pulled a string from his eyes to that cloud, and he could look at the string, to him, that string is going parallel across the water right to that cloud.
Yep.
He sees a string that is parallel to the water, 6 feet off the water, the whole way across until it hits that cloud. That's what he sees. That's his reality.
Yep.
With me? What happens if you were standing underneath that cloud and could see the string? What would you see? Would you see a line going across the water parallel? Or would you see a line sloping out of the sky down to the horizon? You would see a line coming from 5,000 or 10,000 feet. That's what you would see. You would see a line doing that.
You mean if it was round?
No, in reality. Forget if it was round.
Okay.
It was round, just perspective. So whether it's round or not, That's a good question. The way you asked that is
Well,
probably good.
you had me. I was following you up till that point, but if you
All right.
flip it and the other guy's looking the other way, why is the thing coming out of the sky? Like, why wouldn't he just
Well,
see the still same line?
so I'll tell you why. So I'm looking at the clouds over near New York City, and they're literally touching the horizon. That's only
Yeah.
25 miles. Well,
Yep.
those clouds are thousands, 5 or 10,000 feet in the sky. There's not 5 or 10,000 feet of curvature.
Right.
There's only hundreds of feet of curvature. So why
Okay.
would they look like they're on the ground? So perspective is real on a flat Earth, on a globe Earth. It's the same. So
Yes.
you're 25 miles away. You're standing underneath that cloud that I see my line is going straight across the water to that cloud. That's how I see it. But you
Yes.
see the line like this, right? This is an
Okay.
orthographic view, a side view. No one ever sees anything from a side view because anytime
Right.
you're looking from a point of view, right? So you see this, I see that. So if we say, all right, the sun is traveling across the earth, so the sun is going to come across. Where's my sun? So here comes. So I reduced the picture. So here's the line that I'm seeing across the clouds, but I see it level. So from an orthographic point of view, this is what you would see. But I see the sun when it goes beyond those clouds. I can no longer see it because my eye is looking here, and the sun disappears. Right? If I could look at this orthographically, this is what it would be. But from this person's reality, the way he sees, this line isn't shooting up into the sky. The line is going like this to the cloud. So this is his eye line, and the sun just looks like it's going down, like we showed you before, due to perspective, and it goes beyond this atmospheric depth. Well, what if there's no mountains or no clouds? The atmosphere on the clearest of days becomes opaque over distance. The atmosphere.
When you're engaging people that are learned, not just the average run-of-the-mill person, but people that are truthers, that are globers, that are, debating people like yourself, myself.
Yep.
Do you find that you are able to get them to at least admit they have no answer, or do they always insist on wiggling out with some cockamamie excuse?
There's two types of people that think they live on a globe, and then people that think. And the people that go to the debates, normally people that go to debates, they're the ones that are so set in their ways, they'll never look at any evidence that you show them. Right. They just hold on. And then you have I say paid or possessed. It's the same thing. The people out there that Google's going to serve to you, the McLooney Tunes and the scam man Dan, the straw man guy, and the phony fake Professor Dave. Those are the ones that are going to feed you. These guys are invested. I don't know, with their souls, with money, who knows? And they don't care. Getting to the light and how it goes. This is on a winter day. It was below freezing, just like 31 degrees Fahrenheit. And I have my drone up, super clear day. Okay. And I watched the sun. It was going down, down, down. Now, if we're spinning, it would always just keep on going down. It wouldn't stop. It would just keep on going down, but it didn't. It went down, 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 and then it stopped right here. Now, my friends are at the beach over here at the park, and they said they saw the sun set from the bottom up 10 minutes ago. I'm still looking at the sun. I'm up high. Yeah, I'm up high. So what happens? But I don't care if this is in focus, not in focus. It looks a little out of focus because I'm super zoomed in. It went down, 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 and it stopped. If out of focus, it should still go if we're spinning, but it didn't. It just sat here. This is super sped up, like 2,500 speed. And I'm watching it. I'm like, what is going on here? And it's moving away. And finally it gets to the point where its light can't even push through the clear atmosphere.
Right.
And it's gone.
It didn't go over the curve. It didn't
go. I'm going back and forth here. It just took its light with it. Another psyop is light travels for billions of years. The stars that we're looking at are burned out, a billion years ago. Not even there anymore. That's a cool story, bro. I used to believe it, but I never thought about it. I never really thought about it. And reality is the light spreads out; it gets dimmer over distance. You know, the power of the light is it only goes so far. It only can go so far.
Did you take that video yourself, Dave? The one where the sun?
I did.
Just,
I did. I got on the app. On the app, if you go to the web button, which is the more resources page, and then you scroll down on the bottom here, these are all my sun fade out videos. I think I filmed it.
Cool.
I think I filmed it 7 times. Let's take a look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And there's a couple others on here too. This is all about the sun fade out. But again, these are videos that YouTube will not serve you. So they're all there. They're all there.
All right. So in the truther community, the truthers come in all shapes and sizes. All of us are on a journey at some point, in our growth or development to, be willing to consider things. Some of the folks in the chat wanted me to ask you about the Mandela effect, because one of the things I see with a flat Earth community, or let me go the other way, the Mandela effect community is really strong and it's growing, and yet we'll talk to folks that are flat earthers and they'll call us crazy. They act like normies when it comes to this new rabbit hole, and it goes the other way. Those that are in the flat earth, right? So have you looked into Mandela, and do you have a thought on it?
I have a strong opinion. So flat earthers talking to globers about flat earth are diehard, passionate, and sometimes they get shit wrong. Little things. But because I said one thing about this and I made a mistake or something, doesn't negate everything else. We can see too far. What else do you need? I don't care if everything else I said is wrong, right? This is the one thing. Everything breaks the chain. Every single thing breaks the globe chain. Mandela effect. There are some Mandela effects that Mandela people are still pushing out there as real, and they're not. They're not, like the Bernstein Bears. All right. I was in the publishing business. I know the publisher that published the Bernstein Bears. It's always been Bernstein. Maybe it changed in my head also. Right? Maybe. But I've always known them as the Bernstein Bears. And the reason people remember the Bernstein Bears is because they know the name Bernstein. No one's ever heard the name Bernstein. So that's me. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's one. There are Mandelas that are unexplainable. There are Mandelas that nobody has ever caught because they're perfect, right? They're done perfectly. And I believe, here's the thing. Here's what I'll say. For a flat earther to say, Mandela effect, it can't be real. I'm in the understanding and the knowing that our thoughts create our reality. Your thoughts create your life reality. Everything you have in your life is your own fault. Okay. It's because of the way that you think. I know that thoughts and prayer and focusing and energy actually change our reality. Mandela's nothing next to that. Mandela is nothing. Okay. Mandela is a glitch in your thought matrix. That's it. So, some people like, prominent flat earthers that I respect very much, they're like, if Mandela's true, we just should stop researching. I disagree. I totally disagree. I think that things change. I think that the elite are trying to get us to create their dystopian future reality, and they can't do it without us, right? That trumps the Mandela effect, right? If that is something that's real, which I believe it is, the Mandela effect is a little just a little effect. It's not even that impressive next to that. So Mandela effect, sure, it's real.
Okay,
it's real. But the fact that some Mandela effects are wrong, like here's what's your take on what's her name in the braces from Moonraker?
Yeah, Dolly's braces.
The entire movie was based on that scene where they both had braces.
Yeah.
Okay. And so here's something that happened. I went on eBay and I found a VHS, original VHS of the movie, and I got it and I played it on my TV. I couldn't tell if she had braces or not. I'm zooming in. I couldn't tell if I couldn't tell. Isn't that weird? Like I figured braces or no braces. I'm like, are those braces or not? I couldn't tell.
Yeah.
No. At the
Well,
time,
it's
I didn't
kind
have
of
the highest def TV, so maybe that was the issue.
it's kind of like flat Earth, where you use what I call the shock and awe approach. So we all figure that if we give people enough examples, that they will then have to believe it's true, right? Because it's so obvious. But we're trying to convince people whose brains are shut off. So
Yeah.
it's easier to fool somebody than to convince them they've been fooled. That's our job description.
Yeah.
Is trying to convince people that they have been fooled. So what I have seen with the Mandela effect, just like with flat Earth, is that people that don't want to accept it will come up with one or two examples that they're
And
really
discard everything else. They'll discard
It's the
everything
same
else.
with flat Earth, right?
Yeah. So
But
yeah, go ahead, finish. Sorry.
and I don't want to get into a Mandela thing. I want to go back to some specific questions. The first of which is one of these. It's a gut punch thing that I'm just experiencing recently, and I'm going to pull up my screen and have you share any kind of insight that you have on this, because this one is a mind blow. This is called Terra Infinita. Terra Infinita, or whatever you say. Okay, so this is based on this book here, which supposedly is a story told by a woman who comes from the lands beyond the ice walls in the ancestral republic. And here's, I went to this YouTube channels, and it's all subscription based, so you can't view it.
Did you get the book?
I haven't gotten the book yet. I'm going to, though. Have you?
I have. There's 3 of them. Get all 3. They're short. They're big type. Literally, you can sit on the beach and read it in one shot. And there's pictures, and it's written as if it's a true story. Now, is it a true story? I don't know. But what it is, it's the story of Star Wars, right? What's the story of Star Wars? You have planets, and you have people flying in between planets. And some are hostile planets, some are friendly planets, some are cold, some, all different types of planets, different atmospheres, weather, and climate, political systems, the races of people, everything. So that's Star Wars. And then who else we have? We have Starfleet. Is it Starfleet Command? Who's the Galactic Federation, whatever.
Yeah,
that's in charge of the travel. And then we have the Jedis that have the Force. They have the ability to use higher consciousness and do things. So what this book is about, it's called the Navigator Across the Ice Wall, is about certain people that are allowed to travel between certain lands. There's hostile lands and there's non-hostile lands. And there's the people that control it called the custodians, right? That's the Federation. And they're the custodians. And they allow travel through places and protect people from, hostile lands. And then they say that all humans have this connection to the source. The source sounds like the Force. And the more that connected you are, the more powerful you are to the source. So what it is, Star Wars is the story of the navigator across the ice wall, but they diluted it by putting it into a giant space vacuum of infinite expanding nothingness versus the possibility that it's real. Now, listen, I don't know what's beyond the shoreline of Antarctica. We're not allowed to go. We want the ability to go. So if we live on a flat Earth, we do, in a pressurized system, we do, and they're hiding more lands from us. I believe they do. They are. Then that story is 100% physically possible to be true versus an infinite space vacuum at distances that require folding of space and time to travel. Yeah. Well, aliens are really visiting us, but if they're coming from that far away, they must be able to fold space time. Therefore, space time folding is true. This is the logic of a outer space globe nut job. Okay, and I used to be one. I did. I know. So. It's ridiculous. The people that say, NASA gets allegedly, I think they get like $10,000 a day, but they take $80 million a day. $80
NASA?
million. NASA gets $80 million a day
Oh
of
no,
our
it's more
taxpayer
than
money.
that. It's 52 billion a year. It's
No, it's $80 million a day. What is 52 billion divided by 365?
It's more than that. I'll do it in a second here.
Is it 52 billion? No, it's not 52 billion.
Yeah.
It's like 25 billion or something.
Divided by 365. So it'd be 142 million a day.
No, I think you got the number wrong.
What
Hey
is
Siri,
NASA's
what is
annual
NASA's
budget?
budget?
25 billion.
25 billion, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's $80 million a day. So $80 million a day, whatever it is, $80 million a day. What are you going to do? What we're going to other planets? The closest star, right? We know that there's nothing going on in our solar system. The closest star, 25 trillion miles away. If you traveled a mile per second, no one has ever gone that fast. For 1 trillion seconds, you're only 1/25th of the way there. And you know how long a trillion seconds is, right?
Yeah.
31,000 years.
Yeah.
If I had a spaceship that goes 100,000 miles an hour, inconceivable. It would only take 28,000 years to get to the closest star. And when you get there 28,000 years later, you're like, oh, crap, there's nothing here. Where's the next star? Oh, that's 100 trillion miles away. So you got to do that for... What it is, it's retarded. I'm using the word retarded because retarded is...
I understand. So this apparently this lady, without reading the book, was able to give us all of this detailed names and descriptions. Like apparently she had maps of all these worlds. Because how would she know?
She got maps from... Yeah. You know what?
And then...
I don't know.
You don't know. That's fine.
It's a great story. Neither do you.
What do you think of Admiral Byrd? Because Admiral Byrd's probably the only thing we can hang our hat on that there's some validity to this, if he's real.
That's a great one. Let's talk about that. Let me just show you why and how and what if they did this. What if it was? And I can't use an example. I can't say what if it was 1800 because in 1800 we had more technology than we had now. But what if it was the old times? No electricity, no radio, no television, no planes. Just boats and farming and simple life. So what if this is the world? And they say, okay, we're going to draw a circle around here, just America and a little bit of South America. We're going to put a big wall up here. No one's allowed to go beyond the wall. And then he said, you know what? We're going to cut this out. We're going to wrap it around a sphere. And we're going to say, you can't go to this white area. So if you try to sail off of, Mexico, and you go here, nope, stop. You can't go. And they turn you around. You can't go here because there's ice and seals and we don't want to mess up their migration, right? Yeah. Or penguins. So you would never know about Europe or Africa or Australia. You would just think this is your whole world. This is it. You're in a prison. Okay. So looking at the Nov 20th map, the navigator across the ice wall, what if we lived in the middle right here? This is our pond. Here it is, right? America, South America, Australia. They cut it out. They wrapped it around a sphere and they said, you can't go here. That's what they say. We can't go there. We can just go to this little tip right there, right? What is this? This is a prison for your mind. This is a prison for your mind. You're locked in. What difference does it make? This is the difference, right? They're hiding everything from us.
What difference does it make if the worm that the fish is going to eat is on a hook? What difference does it make? It makes all the difference because you become a victim, an enslaved mind slave, and then they can get you to chase your tail your whole life and be a slave.
Yeah. And what if I use this example, and what if you're in a building that is 500 miles long by 500 miles wide by 300 stories high? You can't even fathom 500 miles. Some people don't even travel that far in their entire life, right? And inside it are baseball stadiums and universities and stores and corporations and parks and just everything. It's just super advanced, everything. You met your girlfriend there, you got married, you had kids in one of the many hospitals, and and you work your job and whatever, and you're in there. And one day you say, let's travel. And so you get in your electric vehicle and you start heading away from the center. 500 miles, that's pretty far, right? So you got to go I guess 250 miles. And when you get about a mile from the end of the building, guards there, they go, nope, stop. You can't go there. Why not? Well, it's dark, it's cold, and we need to protect it. It's the only clean place left because of you dirty humans. And so so you think, oh, okay, and you go back. And then your friend goes, hey, you got to go beyond there. There's more. What do you mean there's more? There's no more. This is all there is. That's the end. And then he says, no, there's more. There's another building out there. There's more land. There's more people. There's other races. There's more technology. There's more, and then the person goes, what difference does it make? What difference does it make? I'm happy in my little fishbowl. Yeah. Right? I don't believe we live in a fishbowl. I believe that this world has more to offer us than even truthers understand.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's always another rabbit hole. You think, once you find out a few things, you think you've like sort of arrived, but there's this map thing. Bring that map back up. I want to describe my emotion that I felt when I really started to think about this. I felt so raped, and it was a soul-sucking emotion to think that this world that we know of as a spinning ball or whatever is actually one plate on a giant plane filled with 30 plates. And then there's all these other civilizations going on. And we do have some validity to this. Okay.
Yeah.
Because first of all, we know it isn't a spinning ball. So we know it is flat. So right there, you can make the jump to the fact that this could be very true. Now you've got a book from who knows where saying it's real.
Right. And anybody can write a book, and anybody can make up names. Anybody can do anything. This is possible if the earth is flat. If
that's right.
The earth is flat. Okay.
That's right.
That's it. That's all we're saying. And a lot of people are, you shouldn't talk about it. You should only talk about water's level and high pressure next to no pressure can't exist without a barrier. And and the size and variance and stars. That's right. I love talking about that. I love talking about this. I love talking about it all. Just got to be careful when you say this we don't know, but this we want the right to go explore. Do you know that there was airships that carried thousands of people before the 1800s or in the 1800s?
Yeah.
Thousands of people. Why don't we have those anymore? Why don't we have those?
Well, one of these is Tartaria. One of these plates next door is Tartaria. So maybe their technology came over from there, or who knows?
Well, when you say Tartaria, I mean, there's the Tartarian Empire was here in our world. And there's no question about that. And the stories that we're told, if we're told any stories about them, most people never even heard the word Tartaria, are bullshit. Okay, sorry. And
that's all right.
It's when you look, you can't. It's not a theory. It's everywhere. All of these cities were, these buildings were founded. Were they builded or were they founded? Hit the homeschool section. This guy right here, I'm the Improbable Dreamer. Watch him. Watch this guy, Jake. He's I'm the Improbable Dreamer. This is my lunch break. He breaks down buildings. He found a building in Wisconsin recently that is a Tartarian building. It has the griffin on it. It had the colors. It had everything. And the story of how it was built, in 1 year with no power tools and no cranes. It's stupid. It's just stupid. So again, so much information in here.
Right, so let me just press the pause button. That's a rabbit hole that I know of, but I haven't researched. So could you just, in one or two very brief statements, explain what the concept is? In other words, there was an advanced civilization here in North America that was, and then the mud flood, and then it's all like covered over. We built on top of it. That's about all I know. Can you summarize it?
Yeah, summarization is it was worldwide. There was a connected civilization. So they had advanced, traveling and communication ability. There's pyramids all over the earth, not just in Mexico or in Giza. They're everywhere in America, Alaska, everywhere. And the China, they're everywhere, and they're all using the same building styles and everything. So it was a connected a connected society. And, what were these pyramids used for? Were they energy harvesters? I think so. Look at all these buildings. So something happened. There was a reset. What is that reset? Was it Noah's flood? Was it a plasma event? There's evidence that entire massive buildings were melted and they just became stone.
Wow.
Yeah. And there's evidence where and it's not again, the theory is what happened. The result is evidence. Okay. How did that building melt? What happened? How did this happen? And it's in every city. It's everywhere. And if you look, the story, when did we get power tools and when did we get cranes and when did electricity kick in? Wasn't that in the late 1800s or let's say early 1800s? Some of these buildings are, they say, oh, this building was built in a year by, by just, you can tell AI is writing these stories, but you look at the building, the construction, it's like just when it was new, the building looks 500 years old. And it's like, well, this building was just built, and then you look next to it and there's trees surrounding it that are hundreds of years old that would have to have been moved. Have to not been there when they built it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's so profound.
So it goes everywhere. On the More Resources page, I highly recommend people go to the lost history of our world and go to
watch that guy.
He's giant trees. No. Yep. That's actually lost history. This is just Tataria stuff. The guy you love is this one. The lost history of flat Earth. He wore on. Okay. That's the one you're talking about, right?
No, the other guy I have actually talked with, the guy that does the lost history. His very scholarly research. I mean, it's dense. And it's that guy up in the top right, lost history of Tataria.
No, you're mistaken. This is all different. I have all different creators in here. I think you're talking about Iwaranon, this guy that did the lost history of flat Earth, the whole series. It's all here. YouTube's hiding it for you. The first video in here will scare anyone away. It's 5 hours long, right? But when you watch it, here's the thing. People like 5 hour video. I'm not watching a 5 hour video. People like, even if it's something they like, it's like 5 hours. It's too long. Watch 10 minutes. Bet you don't turn it off until it's over. Bet you don't turn it off until it's over. You can't. It's impossible.
Right?
People sent me this when it first came out, and I'm like, 5 hours. I don't have time for that. And a bunch of people sent it to me, so I kind of just saved it. And one night I was cleaning up, doing some stuff, gonna finish up some emails, and I was like, let me just throw this out of the background. 11 p.m. All of a sudden, I just stopped doing the emails. I'm like, looking. Next thing I know, it's 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, mother effer. And then later that night, I watched it again. Right? That says something. And then that brought me down the rabbit hole of the resets. And, resets, what, every 26,000 years? Nope. I think it's like less than 200 years. There's a reset. And I don't know. I have no way to know that. There's some people claiming that the reset's every 140 years. Well, then you would have to live through 2 of them to know that it's 140 years. You'd have to have proof. So that's 280 years. Nobody has that. All of our history is a lie. All of it.
Hey, Dan has so much. Question. Dan, how is the map with the many planes possible if you believe Genesis chapter 1? Well, the dome, according to the book, I just read the introduction to it, the dome is over all of the worlds. So you could still have Genesis chapter 1 with that big map.
Right. What if God created the world and it was massive and we are just trapped in this one area? What if the whole thing was called Earth? And you know what you would call a piece of the plane? What would you call a piece of a plane? A planet.
Oh, no way. Oh, man. All right, I got a question for you.
Go.
This is around flat Earth. The moon, okay? The moon is a plasma projection. What is the moon? We know it's not terra firma because you could see stars through it. The British Astrological Association has pictures of the moon with stars behind it. So it's opaque. So what does your research tell us about the moon?
My research tells us that we don't know anything about the moon. Why? The official story is a planet hit Earth and knocked off a quarter of it. that turned into a perfect ball that went into a perfect orbit and keeps track of the women's menstrual cycles and and has one side facing us at all time. That's the official story.
Wait a minute.
Okay?
Hold on. This is what I understand. Tell me if this is right. The reason we see the exact same side all the time is because the two balls are spinning in perfect synchronized orbits, right?
Well,
So
it's gravitationally locked. It's holding on to one side of it and spinning it around.
Ridiculous.
It's so stupid. It's so stupid. And why aren't other planets gravitationally locked to other things? Right? It makes no sense whatsoever.
So all right. So I've heard it's a constructed spaceship, and then I've heard that it's a plasma projection. I've seen the video where you could see the waves going down the moon. Right?
That's from Crow 777 Radio.
Yeah. So what the heck are we looking at?
Well, first question is it a sphere? Right? Are these all spheres?
Oh, a sphere meaning a ball, right?
Yeah. Is this one spherical? Quick, before it grabs
I don't know.
It looks
like,
spherical. It looks spherical. What if I told you it was flat?
It is flat. Look at that.
What about this one? Is that one a sphere?
I'm going to say yes.
Cup. Okay. So again, we don't know even what shape it is. I think that the moon is a sphere. I do.
Okay.
But it has nothing to do with the shape of the floor. The lights in the sky have nothing to do with the shape of the floor. Think about this. The Earth is traveling at 66,000 miles an hour. Okay.
Yes.
67,000 miles an hour. The moon is traveling at 2,000 miles per hour. So when it's going here, it's going 68 plus 2. So it's going 67 plus 2. So 69,000 miles an hour, right?
I'm with you.
To stay there, it's got to go that speed, right? You with me?
Yes.
So then here, it still has to keep that distance. It still has to be going that 67 plus 2.
Okay.
Right? Still has to be going 69. It has to match it. Now it has to slow down a little bit to come over here. So it has to slow down. It literally has to slow down to go here. Okay. So now it's going exactly 67,000 miles an hour. I'm rounding off, of course. And then when it goes back here, it's gotta stay the same speed, 60, 67, or does it have to add the 2? So now from here, it's got to speed up again at some point. I guess only here it has to speed up, and then it slows down, and everything back here. What the heck is making it change its speed?
No, they don't tell you that it's doing that because they don't really drill down on the minutia like we do. And then when you ask them these questions, they'll tell you that
and while it's doing that, it's also chasing the sun at 480,000 miles an hour, which is inconceivable.
Right. And the whole story, the narrative is when you see the moon at night and it's full moon and it's bright, that's the sun's light reflecting off of the moon, right? Talk to us about that, how ridiculous that is.
So it's a dusty, dirty ball, reflects light so bright that you can read by it in the middle of the wilderness and cast your shadow on the ground, right? Yeah. I was in Mexico and I was in the town square and they had all these giant cement balls. And I'm looking at the cement ball. It's noon. I'm like, how come the light isn't bouncing off of that? It's actually kind of shiny. Why isn't it bouncing off of it and like lighting up my face and casting my shadow on the building behind me?
And the light's different too. Like the sun has certain properties of sunlight, but if you check the heat with a heat sensor on moonlight, it's actually colder than the right.
It's colder, but there's a million ways to do that experiment and get a false positive. But yes, if you do it correctly, it shows a significant difference. People even some flat earthers are like, there's no such thing as cold light. And then Cody's Action Lab, not a flat earth channel, came out and showed us a cold laser where it freezes things with a laser. Okay. So, I guess there is something as a cold light. Why is the moon only lighting up these clouds and not the clouds that are off to the side? It seems like it's kind of local, doesn't it?
That's the moon we're looking at?
That's the moon. And why is it so bright?
Right. It's a light.
Yeah.
It's self-illuminated, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And then
It
why,
is its own light.
supposedly,
It
if the ocean waves or the tides are caused by the gravity of the moon, then why is the gravity of the Earth overcome by a smaller body? Does that make any sense? Or why doesn't
th-
the sun's gravity pull the moon away from the Earth when it comes around the
because
sun side?
the moon is closer to the Earth and the Earth's gravity negates the sun gravity. Even though the sun can hold on to Pluto, which is an inconceivable distance away, it ignores the moon.
I
Right?
know gravity is very selective, isn't it?
It's very selective, very, very selective.
All right, so
Very
here's
selective.
2 questions in a row. First question is, what's the hardest question you get to try to answer? And then if you had to pick one proof, what would be your number one best proof that the Earth is flat and stationary? What's the
The
hardest
hard,
question you to try to answer
well,
like
the
this?
hardest question to explain is southern star rotation because it's not a
Yeah,
hard. It's not because we don't have the answer. It's because it's hard to visualize how we
yeah.
see stars. And the best way to address that one is, we can prove that stars aren't the sizes and distances they tell us. So what do you care how they move? We can prove that they're not burning balls of hydrogen and helium in a space vacuum, right?
Mhm.
Gas violently fills the available space to equalize, except in space. In space, it collapses upon itself, creates a nuclear furnace, and burns for billions of years without ever losing any mass, even though it's burning 640 million tons every second.
Every
But it
second,
doesn't get
right.
every second. Okay. I'm sorry. I don't buy in it. I mean, it's so dumb. This is it. It's so dumb that people allow it to be, they allow it to happen. They just say, okay, I can't fathom something that dumb, therefore it has to be true. It's crazy. It's
All right,
insane.
so the question that's difficult for me is, first of all, the question about why we see the moon. Is it upside down in Australia or Southern Hemisphere? Why is it not upside down and it's the same, or it is upside down? I can't remember the question.
It's upside down.
How is the moon perceived from the Southern Hemisphere differently or the same? I can't remember the question. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do. Let me answer. Because I'm pulling up one thing at a time.
Okay,
Let
sorry.
me just show you. No, it's all right. Not your fault. So here's something I took the other night. So I got the Earth, and here's Venus, and that's Moon, and that's Venus, and that's the Sun. Not to scale. Everybody, relax.
Okay.
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 So not to scale. So I got the sunlight, and I'm right here. It's like 4:00 in the morning. Whoops. I'm gonna go back. It's like 4:00 in the morning, so I'm still in the dark. The sun's below my horizon, and I could see
Yeah.
the moon. It's just a crescent moon. Don't you think I would see a crescent Venus? Because this is where Venus was.
True.
I should see a crescent Venus. So I'm looking east towards the sun, and I got the moon here. There's my waning crescent moon waning crescent because the sun's coming towards it. And I zoom out, and all of a sudden there's Venus. So the moon's closer. I zoom in on Venus, and instead of seeing a crescent Venus, I see this. Venus is a gassy planet, and I'm seeing this. Do you know what this is? I don't know what it is.
Lights.
No, it's Venus.
Okay.
That's Venus. So to say that this is a gassy ball, just
well, no, Venus is
sunlight,
supposed to be a planet, right? Venus is
it's a planet, but this is what we see when we look at it in reality, right? So again, they say Venus is the same size as Earth, and that's how we figured out the radius of the Earth. And because they assume something, they presume it. Then the rest of their math supports that presumption, and therefore it must be real. It's so dumb.
Yes, a lot of presumption, no question.
It's a lot of presumption.
Right, so
what was the other question? Yes,
the question has to do with, it's one that comes up, and I'm sorry I can't remember exactly the question. It has something to do with the if you're in the Southern Hemisphere, you see the same face of the moon that you see in the Northern Hemisphere, and if that wouldn't be true if the Earth was flat, or no, it's upside down to them, I think. But
yeah.
it's just a matter of perspective, I think.
So here, whoops, that's not what I show you. So it's just a matter of perspective. Here's two shots taken at the same time, one in the UK and one in Australia, and the moon is upside down. Here's this crater. There it is.
Come back,
there.
Dave.
Oops. Am I here? Hello? Hello? I hear me. I see me.
There we go. Okay, we just glitched out for a second, but go ahead.
All right. So here it is, the moon. There's that crater. There's a crater. It's upside down, right? So if you are in a big room and we put a moon on the ceiling and I drew a big 6 on it, and I'm standing on that wall and I see the 6, well, that's the north. You're in the south on the other side of the room. You look up. What do you see? A 6 or a 9?
A 9.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But the problem people have is they say, well, if you were going, it would look oblong. It would look weird. You know, it wouldn't have the same side. You'd see partially the other side. Hey, that's good. If you're talking about a sphere in a distant sky or a local sky above us. But again, we don't know how far it is. But take a look at this guy in this curved swimming pool. He's facing straight forward, but his body is facing the camera.
No
right?
way.
He's facing forward, but his body's facing the camera. So now let's travel. Let's say we're in the north and he's at the equator. We're going to the equator. It's still the same side as facing us. And if I went the other way, it would turn the other way. It would turn the other way. So I don't know, sky in my world is water, and the sun and the moon are within that water, and it's being projected into our reality. You got to look at the eclipses videos on the app and watch my work on there, and you'll see how this all comes together.
Incredible. All right, is that the same for the North Star? Because they say you can't see the North Star from the southern hemisphere or something like that.
Yeah. So the North Star, well, you can't. And so why is that? Well, because the Earth is curved, right? Your foregone conclusions based on one observation doesn't change my reality. You and I are in a room, 10 feet high ceilings, 15 foot high ceilings. Okay. And there's random lights that are insert. The electricians were very creative and they put them in all just random patterns. And we look up and we're like, you know what? If you connected the lines, that looks like a bull, that looks like a starfish, and that looks like a snake. All right, cool. All right, now we expand that room to the size of a city, 10 miles wide, whatever. And I say, all right, you go take a walk. Go a couple miles that way. And so you walk. Now, have you ever been to Las Vegas?
I have, yes.
The Bellagio, the hotel's so friggin' long. Go to one end of the hallway and look down the other end. The lights are touching the floor. Okay, they're touching the floor because they merge together due to perspective. That's just in the Bellagio, right? So you're taking a walk in this room, and before you're half a mile away, I can't even see you anymore. So let's say you go 3, 4, 5 miles away. 5 miles away. I yell, you can't hear me because my voice spreads out and it just doesn't travel 5 miles. Well, and the ceiling and the floor have merged together.
Yes.
And I can't see beyond that. So I call you on your cell phone and I say, hey, look up at the lights in the sky. I said, do you see that snake, that bull, that starfish? You're like, no, I see different things. I see different lights. I'm like, well, that proves it. This room is a sphere.
Right. Not.
And that's without an atmosphere becoming opaque and the stars being above that atmosphere and you being below it. Everything becomes opaque. It merges into that horizontal eye zone and things are just beyond it. So you can't see. However, the Southern Cross has been seen from Texas. The North Star has been seen from an observatory that is 30 degrees south in South America. And they shut that down since we started talking about it. On certain conditions, you can see things farther and farther than you should. Now, on a flat Earth, sure, you can't see me right now, my house. Like, go outside and look for my house. What state are you located in?
North Carolina.
North Carolina. Well, I'm in Connecticut. Can you see my house?
No.
Earth must be a globe then because you can't see my house. That's globe logic. So there's days where we can see things farther than they should be and closer than they should be. Now, a 6 foot tall person standing at the edge of perfectly calm water clear day. Should only be able to see the surface of that water for 3 miles. 3 miles, because the Earth curve drops 6 feet in 3 miles if it's a globe the size that they tell us. So on the best, clearest of days with the calmest of water, if I had a little toy boat that's 2 inches tall and I put it 3 miles away with a super zoom, I should be able to see it sitting right on the edge of the cusp of the curve of the Earth.
Yes.
Okay. Clear? Now, let's add some waves. We add some 2-foot waves between me and that horizon. Will I be able to see that toy boat? Nope.
Nope.
It'll be hidden behind a false horizon. If I sat down, that horizon gets even closer, like less than 2 miles away. 1 foot off the ground, it's 1.2 miles away. Now, other days, I can see that toy boat 10 miles away. Okay. And other days when the conditions aren't as good, I can only see it when it's a mile away or 2 miles away. So the mile or 2 miles away is possible on a flat Earth and a globe Earth. The 3 miles away is possible on a flat Earth and a globe Earth. But the 10 miles away is only possible on a flat Earth. I don't care how many days in a row you can't see something. When you can see it, it disqualifies everything else.
That's right. One event basically does it for me. All right, let me try another one. And if you're not on this, it's fine. Have you looked into simulated sun at all? Because I was going down the highway and I saw 2 suns. I was driving back from Buffalo. This was when I was still with my wife. And I looked up, and I'm telling you, as God is my witness, there was 2 separate lights in the sky. And then this is where it gets really weird. This is what I thought. I thought, finally, my wife is going to know I'm not crazy. So I say, honey, look, what do you see up there? She looked up, and she was stunned. But right at that moment, the clouds, and I'm telling you, this is God is my witness, the clouds sped up. And they came and covered the clouds. And she said, oh, it was just a reflection off the cloud.
Well, a simulated sun is very possible in a simulation. So,
yeah.
So I have another thing to view. I believe there's 2 suns in the sky all the time, but you can't see them. Why? So I believe that there's a sun within or above, inside of the firmament, not under it. We're under it, but in it. That is the source sun, whatever it is.
You mean above the dome, you're saying?
Above, well, the dome, what is the dome up an inch thick or is it 100 miles thick? I don't know, but it's inside of the thickness of the dome or above it. I don't know. But
okay.
God said that he created the sun inside of the firmament. So inside of the firmament, it could be in it, not under it. Like, is the milk in your refrigerator or under the refrigerator?
Okay, I'm with you. I hear what you're saying.
God said put the milk in the refrigerator. All right?
Yes.
So if you put it on the refrigerator, is that God's word? So, people say, Dave, your sun thing, it goes against God's word. I don't know. If God said in, God didn't say under. I think. Maybe I got that wrong. But nonetheless, I think that it biblically lines up. Have you seen my rear projection sun?
I don't think so, no.
Good. So this is me filming on a hazy day, because the day that you saw the 2 suns, the sky was kind of hazy and cloudy, right?
Okay.
So here's me filming an eclipse. Now, we don't see the moon. We see something eclipsing it. It could be the moon, could be something else. But we see missing sun. Here is my paper. And I look at the sky, the personal atmospheric dome that we see in, as our sky screen. Here's my sky screen. It's called the paper towel sky. And how did I create this? I have a rear projection of a light in a tube sending this projection, and I'm eclipsing it with a moon bottle cap, right? So let's take a look. So we filmed an eclipse, and during the eclipse was like 85% eclipse. Now, it's blowing out the light. We can't really see the eclipse because it's just blowing out the lens. But we see through this lens flare how much of an eclipse is going on. This is a lens flare because it's moving around. But why isn't this one, if that's a lens flare, why isn't it not moving around?
So just interpret what we're seeing for us, because I'm still not clear what I'm looking at.
So what we're looking at is there's an eclipse, a solar eclipse going on. It's 85% eclipsed. But this is the sun that we see, but you can't see the eclipse because it's just the lens is blown out. It's too much light.
Yeah.
But this lens flare is showing you the eclipse. Look,
Okay,
here's it's lens flare. But this one it doesn't appear to be moving. It's locked into position with the sun. So it can't be a lens flare. What is it? Right? If it's not a lens flare, what is it? I say that's the second sun or the source sun. This is the sun that we see. And during a normal day when the sun is bright, you can't see the source because it's too bright. It's blinding you. The sky is blue and it's blinding you. So here is my projected sun. I got my eclipse happening. You don't see the body that's eclipsing it because there's no light being projected. So here's the back end. So I got this light. I got a flashlight looking through this tube, projecting a circle. This is our sun that we see.
Okay.
And then I have something is eclipsing it, which is my bottle cap. Okay. So there is my eclipsed sun. But then I said, you know what? This is interesting, but what if the sky was a little more transparent than the paper towel? So I went to the toilet paper sky. And I'm doing the same thing. There's the source sun. And when we compare this eclipse to the actual eclipse, what do we get? You see any similarity?
Yes.
I think that's how we see the lights in the sky. That's why when there's a new moon, nobody can see the moon, even with infrared from the International Fake Station, with a giant telescope. Nobody can see the moon. You know why? Because the moon is not here in our personal atmospheric grid of vision, in our azimuthal grid of vision. It is above, within, behind the sky, and there's no light being projected in.
What is obscuring the light could either be on the moon itself. In other words, the moon is just closing an aperture, or there's like Roku. There's like a dark body that goes.
So on the eclipse section on the app, there's one video that talks about Rahu and Ketu, and it literally shows somebody caught it on video. It's kind of interesting. Let's see if I have it here. I don't have it here. Where these two bodies are moving. One of them's really fast, one of them's slow, and Rahu is supposedly faster than Ketu or vice versa. And it's interesting. But again, all of that still works this way because we only can see so far. So everything we see has to be within that grid, that dome of vision. That's how they map out the sky, the azimuthal grid. They have a dome and they put the latitudes and longitudes on there. And that's how you can calculate where stars are and everything, because it's how we see.
All right. So here's a question I'm dying to ask you. We're coming up on an hour and a half, so I'm not sure how you doing.
We're wrapping up pretty soon. Right? I'm losing my voice. I got 2 more interviews today. So
yeah, well, I got
3
more today. So we'll wrap this up. Let me ask you one more question. This is about Nibiru. Now, there's a lot of research. It's very compelling, but here's my problem. If I have a dome heliocentric model, there can't be some giant planet coming into the solar system.
Flat Earth model, you mean? A dome flat
Earth model. There is no solar system. There's the dome, and then there's the water above the dome.
There's lights in the sky, and maybe the Nibiru is a light in the sky. That is going to have some effect on us. It's not a rock, giant ball floating in, and it's going to, come near us and gravitationally pull us. If Nibiru could gravitationally screw us up, how come Jupiter, which has more gravity than the rest of the planets combined, doesn't affect us? When we have these planetary alignments, how come everything doesn't get pulled out of whack?
No, it doesn't make
Jupiter
sense.
is made of 99% helium and hydrogen, which defy gravity. But it has more gravity than the rest of the whole solar system. This stuff is so stupid that most minds can't comprehend it. So they go, "Well, I got to trust the guy in the bow tie who lies because he's a failed comedian," and they call him the science guy. So I have to trust him. And then I have to trust the big other failed comedian, actor, Neil deGrasse Tyson. And he doesn't even know what the curvature of the earth is when he was asked. He's the one that says he doesn't have time to talk to flat earthers. But for years, he has time to make straw man after straw man after straw man videos about flat earthers. So why do you have to lie? Why do you have to lie to defend your model? Here's something I want to show you. So
Sure.
I stole this from Austin Whitsitt. Whitsitt Gets It, amazing channel. He's on the homeschool section, his Schooling Globers.
Oh yeah, I'm familiar with him.
Yeah. So the governments of the world are hiding the true nature of our Earth. They use philosophy. Philosophy is not science, right? Sun worship is not science. Blind guessing due to simpler math is not science because, the ship disappeared from the bottom up. I could do some math and prove that it's a globe. That's not science. That's just us pre-assuming a ball. Ignoring evidence is not science. So those mountains, the tops of those mountains should be 40 miles below the curve, but we're not going to address that. That's not science. That's avoiding, right? Consensus is not science. Well, most of the people in the world think the earth is a globe. That's because they've all been fooled. And they're in a giant deception. I don't care if I'm the only one. CGI is not science. Well, photos of Earth. Well, the NASA admits that they're CGI. And a presupposition is not science. Or presuming a ball and then having all presupposing that Venus is the same size as Earth, and then all the math works. It's not science. And religion is not science. Science is science.
Yes.
So when we do our science, things go. And then the one last thing is, people say, well, what difference does it make? I still have to go to work on Monday. We're all programmed to say that. And the truth is, if you know my whole history, I had, I built a great career in my own business and I walked away from it all because now I don't have to go to work on Monday. But it's, so what has it done? What difference does it make? Well, we talked about what difference it makes, but more at peace because I'm not afraid of asteroids and running out of space and global warming and fuel and I'm just more at peace. Greater sense of freedom because I understand how this realm is working, and I don't allow the mind controllers to restrict me as best I can, and clearer connection to the creator because it does all those. So that's why it matters. And there's 100 more.
Sure. The only way you can say what difference does it make is if you don't believe it's true. Because when you find out it's true, it's just like being in the Truman Show. And can you imagine if Truman found out that he was on a TV studio and then the next day he just goes back to work again? It's unthinkable.
What difference does it make?
Right. It's unthinkable. So, all right. Well, that's a great ending right there. And just let us know how we can help you, Dave. What's the best way people can help you get the word out? I know you're on TikTok doing great stuff over there. What are the different platforms that you're on?
I'm on TikTok. I'm on Instagram. I'm on many YouTube channels. I go on everyone else's shows, on everyone else's platform, but everything can be found at flatearthdave.com. All my interviews are, if you just go to the latest interviews tab there, or on the more resources page on the app, you can click here. Here are all the interviews that are on YouTube, but over here are not only my interviews and the ones that are on other channels that are the other platforms, but all of the videos end up over here also. And again, I told you the search feature is there, but if you want to keep up with me, this is the best place because like 99% of them go on YouTube unless we hit topics that can't be on YouTube. FlatEarthDave.com. If you know of a podcast, if you have a podcast that wants to have this conversation without, especially non-flat Earth channels that are like, well, let's talk about it, or people that think it's stupid want to have an honest conversation. Those are the shows I'm trying to get on. So hit me up. You can click the book Flat Earth Dave, contact Dave. and give me the information, send me a link, tell me, why you think I should be on that show or whatever can help me get on. And then I get on. Grab the app. The app is $3, $11 for the subscription. You don't have to get the subscription, but if you want to support me, you can do that. And just share the information with others. Go out and verify all things. The most important thing is, I used to wake people up to all of the hoaxes and false flags, and they go right back to sleep. But when you could show Truman, that's a good analogy, just say, hey, the company you're working for, they lied about this, they lied about that. Well, he's still going to go find another job, do something. But when you tell him he's on a stage, everything changes. Yeah. So this is the one that wakes people up from the Matrix, unplugs them from the Matrix. And literally the Matrix is a documentary. They are taking our energy and we're giving it to them willingly. So this is if you're not a flat earther already, this is your blue pill moment. You got to take the time and effort. The thing is, they've got us in a way of life where we'd rather just be lazy. We'd rather just be like, that's a lot of work. I can go to work, I'm making good money. I come home. I love Netflix, and I love football, and I love drinking. And then you go back to work, and that's your life. That's not my life. I don't do that. So I tell people, if you didn't have to pay for gas for your car, air conditioning or heating for your home, would that change your life? If there was cures, energy medicine for all of the crap diseases that they give us, would that change your life? If you found out that there was no overpopulation, they're lying about the population, and even if it was 100 times the population, the earth would be fine. There's plenty of room and plenty of resources. If they're hiding technology, would that change your life? All of this changes your life. If you found out that, hey, you're not a random speck that came from pond scum. You were actually put here, and this place was created for you. And you have the ability to manipulate reality with your thoughts. Does that matter? That change your life?
All that. And it's just a filter. When you get the filter off, you then see the next thing that may very well be life and death, like the health emergency thing, right? With the moon juice, monkey juice. That took a lot of people off of this flat earth because they had their filter down. So the more you see, and it does matter. And Dave, thank you for this awesome interview. It was awesome, as I expected, and would love to have you back again in the future. And I'm doing the podcast circuit myself, so I will definitely start to mention you when I'm doing those for folks, for looking for a great interview for sure.
Right. And are you familiar with Crow 777 Radio?
No.
Crow 777 Radio. And I tell people that this is like, don't send your kids to college. Just make them listen to Crow and they'll be more equipped for this world. It's an amazing podcast. It's my favorite podcast. And it's just audio, so you can listen to it anywhere. Pop in an earphone while you're riding your bike, while you're kite surfing, while you're taking a walk. And you'll learn more and become a more useful citizen. Don't send your kids to college. Pull them out of school if you can. Let them listen to Crow. But Crow is and his team, they're up for looking for interviews. So if you're looking for somebody to interview, you'll have him on and have him talk about the nuke hoax or whatever. You know that nuclear bombs don't exist?
That's what I've heard, but it's a mind bender.
Yeah, so have him on and talk about that and other things. His podcast literally is better than college, and it's $8 a month. Right?
Interesting.
So don't fall into the college trap. I was shocked when I had some friends that said they weren't going to college when I graduated high school, and they're all retired on their yachts. So,
yeah, right.
so again, the world is trapping you in this mind prison. The education system is an indoctrination system. There are, colleges are so stupid. Colleges is because, hey, this professor that knows this the best, he's at this college. And the only way to get that information is to actually travel and go there. But now you can get it everywhere. It's all online. YouTube University, even with the cucks that they are, you can learn more there than you'll ever learn in school. Find out your passion and learn about it. Find out and learn how to manipulate this reality with Crow 777 Radio. Again, I'm plugging Crow because it's literally changes people's lives. I had several people tell me, They were about to send their kids to college. They had saved up the money. They didn't. The kids doing crow. And I say, you know what? The most important thing about college, by the way, is the social interaction. So get a group of people, rent your kids a house like out on Cape Hatteras or something, and they can get a little part-time job there, working in the windsurfing store or whatever. And they can listen to their crow, they can ride their bikes, they can learn stuff, they can and then they can also study some things that they're interested in online. And that's it. Why spend 50, 80, 100 grand a year on something that's going to teach you nothing for navigating this world? So
great.
There you go.
Well, man, we're grateful for your research. Keep on fighting the fight, and we're watching from here. And we will definitely be staying in touch with you on all fronts. Be sure to download the app, guys. Get that on your thing, and you'll have contacts with other flat earthers in your area, which is really cool.
And what is your referral code when you download it? Ask for a referral code, and it says
"Wake up."
Wake up, no space.
That's right. That's right.
Nice.
All right, Dave. Hey, appreciate you, buddy. We'll be in touch. Thanks again, man. Have a great rest of your day. All right.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
All right, man.
Bye.
All right, everybody. Well, that was Dave, Big Dave Weiss, the flat earth juggernaut. He is absolutely nailing it. I see myself in him. He's coming up with all these observations, and I can just see him lying on his bed thinking, how can I explain this? That's what I do about the Mandela effect. I'm trying to help everybody understand the Mandela effect. Because you can only do so much. You can't cover all of the things. But man, that map with all the different worlds is really affecting me. I don't know about you guys, but that thing really affected me. If that's real, I just feel ripped off like a little mouse in a maze. Like I'm so diminished by that. I'm just so insignificant and controlled and fooled and lied to, and all of the adventure and fascination of, and then where's God and all that? God created, if that is true, God created this plane. What was his intention? I don't know. I know it's all conjecture, but there's enough, there's enough evidence with the South Pole Treaty and whistleblowers. People always say, well, if this was all a cover up, there would be people well, there are whistleblowers. If they don't die or get imprisoned, they do exist. Julian Assange, and what's the other guy? He was a CIA guy, and he talks about technology. Those are real people, I guess. I don't know. None of us really know. We're just triangulating. We got Flat Earth Dave, and then we got other people, and we got some mystery lady that wrote a book who supposedly came from one of these other lands. What do we know? Got Admiral Byrd, his testimony. Oh no, he's a Freemason and he's just lying. Okay, well, you don't know that. You're only assuming that. He could have been real, because what I've seen is the data sphere does allow stuff to slip through. They're not always perfect with their deception. They do stuff on purpose too. They let stuff through on purpose to mock you and to they let stuff through on purpose as part of the spell, because if it's so obvious that you see these obvious clues and you still accept it, then that causes a blindness to come on you. And what I'm going to do is show you, let's see. Didn't I save that? Maybe it's this one here.
India has become now the fourth country to land a spacecraft on the moon after the U.S. and China and the former Soviet Union.
This is India is telling us they just landed a spacecraft on the moon, and that's what they're showing us. It looks like asteroids. That the video game way back when. Look at this.
Chandrayaan-3 spacecraft landed on the lunar South Pole. Look at the celebration here. India's Space Research Organization is Soviet Union. The Chandrayaan-3 spacecraft landed on the lunar South Pole. Look at the celebration here. India's Space Research Organization is already sharing stunning photos from the mission.
India landed on the South Pole of the moon, and experts believe there could be ice, mineral deposits, valuable elements there.
Present. Oh, stop screen share. I don't even know how to do this. How do I stop sharing my screen? I don't know. There's my screen. Now I can stop sharing my screen. Okay. So, oh my gosh. Dave is really something. I think flat Earth is probably the only conspiracy theory that if it was really exposed, it would bring down the entire system. So they can't let it out because it would prove the governments are all lying, pharmaceuticals, the military, and the educational system. They all know at the highest levels. There's compartmentalized down the road, and the people, I saw, what's the guy's name? He's a preacher, and he goes on to universities, and he's really smart, and he talks about evolution, and he asks the students the questions, and he's basically talking about a transitory species, and they always say, well, the finch, Darwin showed that the finch was a transitory species. No, that was an adaptation. It had a different beak, but you have to have something between a frog and a horse that's actually a transitory species, and none of those appear in anywhere in the archaeological strata, right? So he goes in and he shows that all of the students, when you push them to the edge, they always say the same thing. Well, my professors must know. I can't answer your question, but the professors would know. So they're deferring to authority. Well, then he goes to the professors. And guess what? They go like this. He goes, could you name one transitory species? Oh, I could name thousands. This is what the guy says. Oh, well, I just need one. And then he says, well, it's the finch. And then he tells him it's not a transitory species. It's an adaptation. And these guys had no answers. And so everybody's kind of, so how do you explain that? Okay, are these people that are in these PhD positions? That's why in my book, I have a chapter called I Know More Than the Astrophysicists. Because these are the astrophysicists. These are the heads of these scientific departments in these top universities. And they're the ones that would know how, is there one example? I don't have one. But, and they'll talk about some amoeba that, breaks off and becomes something else or whatever. They don't have any scientific data. They have a religion. Behind their religion is the desire that was in the Pharaoh's heart. I don't want this God to rule over me. That's what Pharaoh said to Moses. I will not have this God to rule over me. That's why they do not want to admit that there's no transitory species, because if they do, then they have to admit there's a creator. And then once that happens, now you have a moral obligation to that creator. Ha, ha, ha. Sorry. It's not your universe, bro. You have to bow the knee to the lordship of Jesus Christ, either here or in eternity. And you know it. Every knee will bow and every tongue confess that Jesus is Lord. Period. They don't want to repent before a holy God, so they make up a worldview that doesn't include him. That's the monkey to the man, okay? Showing you evolution, and the flat earth is the exact same narrative. There's no God. The earth was spinning gases. Remember that? The earth was spinning gases, and over billions of years it cooled and became hardened, and then clouds formed. That's what I always was told. That's what I believed. Well, you can believe that without a God, but what you can't believe without a God is that it's flat, stationary, as a dome over it. How did the dome come into existence? By spinning gases. Right? No bueno. It's not happening. So this worldview proves there's a God. That's the other thing. If flat earth came out and it was proven that there's a dome, that would be the greatest evangelistic event in all of human history, because now you would have to admit there's a creator. And of course, they're going to go over to panspermia. We're seated with aliens. We're actually aliens. This is what all the movies are about. Prometheus really goes into it. That's the latest alien movie. And that's what we're all going to be faced with very soon. And I'm working on a message about that, with, the dilemma that you're going to be up against. See, this is when knowing Jesus is going to really matter, because, the Bible's being torn from us in a sense. The credibility is not the word, the reliability. The reliability of the Bible's veracity and reliability is being undermined, right, through the end time sign and wonder, the supernatural Bible change. But if you walk with Jesus, it doesn't matter, because you have empirical evidence in the form of epinosis. Okay, the scripture is, and the peace of God keep your hearts and minds. Sorry, I'm drawing a blank. Let the peace of God, which passes knowledge, keep your hearts and minds. Let the peace of God, which passes knowledge. Okay, that is the touchstone scripture for me. What does that mean? It's the term epinosis, and it means beyond knowledge. So you can know God from your heart and your spirit. You better know him from there. You don't know God with your head. Okay, so it doesn't matter if the Bible evaporates into confetti. You have a relationship with the living God, who is not an alien. You're not having a relationship with ET in your prayer time. When God orders circumstances in your life in direct answer to prayers, okay, for example, I've shared this testimony. I went to Bible school and I ran out of money because I had no support, and then I needed $167, I think it was, to pay my rent. And 2 weeks into the late, this guy walks up to me and gives me $167. And he told me, God told me this morning that I was supposed to give this money to somebody, and I didn't know who it was. And when you walked out of your apartment, God spoke to me and said, that's the guy. And he gave me the exact amount that I needed to pay the rent. All right, so that's what I mean, where God will order circumstances in your life to prove he exists. Now, could you try to make the case that this is some alien, and you're in some simulation? Sure, if you want, go ahead. But Wake Up or Else is a Christian fellowship for the truth of community, where I am a Bible believer to the end. Okay, take it or leave it. I don't care if you don't get all your questions answered. I don't either. But I met the author of the book in 1983, and he walked into my life and he changed my heart. The next day I was a different person, and it's been that way for 40 years. And I meet with him in prayer. And so there's no debate in my heart if he exists. And so I could care less if the Bible is going to be allowed to go away. And that's the foundation. No other foundation can be laid but that which is Christ himself. That is the foundation. I know I'm flipping from flat earth to Jesus, but that's the way I roll. I'm sorry. Jesus is the end of this journey, okay? If you have not made your peace with God, and you're a flat earther, you draw your last breath, I'm here to tell you that, oh, Denise is telling me my audio is crackling. Damn, sorry, you're right. My bad. Thank you, sorry. Anyway, this is a time to be like really pressing in to hearing Jesus' voice. My voice, my sheep hear my voice, and the voice of another they will not follow. When this alien thing gets rolled out, we are going to have to be rooted and grounded in a personal relationship with the living God, and walking with him through this storm of swirling deception and heresies. You know, the Euphrates River dried up, and they found some archaeological thing, the Copper Scroll with 67 treasure locations throughout the earth. And I've heard about this years ago, that there was going to be archaeological discoveries that were going to challenge the foundations of the Christian faith. So let's just assume that it's proof that we were created by the ETs. Let's say that that proof comes forward. Well, you're going to have to decide to believe that truth, because you have another truth, and that is the epignosis evidence that you have. The epignosis evidence that you know this God personally in your heart, and you have this relationship with him, and you choose to land on that one. That's what you're going to have to do, I believe, very soon. And that's what I'm going to really try to focus on now. Wake Up or Else at this point is me, and Lori is helping me, and Mark, and we've got this vision to go big with the Mandela effect. But I need people's help. I need people to support me temporarily. I'm trying to create income streams on the side so that I can survive. Okay. I just negotiated with my wife to eliminate the child support because I gave her the house. It was a lot. I gave her the house. And so she's now going to consider that gift as payment for child support. So I'm not a deadbeat dad. Okay. It's a couple of $100,000. It's more, it's 3 times what I promised to pay for the next 3 years. All right. So I have very little bills. However, Amazon told me I can't advertise because my book violates their community guidelines. So I'm starting a drop shipping business. I'm trying to do this, guys. I'm trying to make this Mandela thing happen, but I need people to at least for the next 90 days to join me as a financial partner, and just know that this is listener funded right now. Me. I don't need a lot, but once I can get this drop ship thing up and whatever else God is going to send me to support myself, I'll be fine. And every donation will go to the project, which is another whole thing. All right. So if you've been blessed by the ministry and you would be willing to help sow into this vision of getting this topic out, because I'm only doing a tiny bit of what I want to be doing, because I'm trying to survive, right? Financially. I'm not independently wealthy. And I stopped selling insurance last year because I became an American State National. And then I didn't know this when I'm going into it, but I couldn't keep doing that because I have to opt into the state and say I'm a US citizen to get my licenses in all the states, which I can't do anymore. So that went away. Okay, so it is time to jump in with me, people. Okay, and we're going to do this. We're praying on every Monday. This is another thing that I want to ask you to consider, is to come out on Mondays, which, by the way, I have a live stream or podcast that I somehow scheduled tonight, because never mind how, it's just a mistake. So there won't be a prayer meeting tonight. But every Mondays at 8 p.m., we're meeting for prayer to begin to surrender this whole vision to the Lord and give him the reins of how that it will take place. There's a tab on my website, wakeuporelse.com, which says outreach. And you can go there and you can see the whole vision of taking this discussion to the denominations, the Bible colleges, and the Christian media and the Christian publishing houses. So, and we're starting to get the people like Paul Grafton Holt, who has 4 theological degrees. He signed my affidavit. He's written 12 books. 11 of them are used in Bible colleges as curriculum. Okay. So we have the beginnings of a worldwide ministry to really bring this topic out into the open. But it's going to require funds. So that particular vision requires about $400,000 annual budget. So we have 20 grand a month in a budget for advertising, just basic advertising. Probably another 5 grand with social media. Think about it though. We're telling the story and people are hearing it for the first time and they're going, that's ridiculous. And then they go research it and they realize it's true. That's pretty much the process. So the idea that we can't affect people is incorrect. That is a lie from the devil, and you need to stop trying to think like that. John, only the people that God wants to see will see. Okay, well, you may be right. So I don't know who those are. I don't know who the people are that are supposed to see right now. So I'm just going to tell everybody, and then those that are supposed to see will see. Okay, but if you don't tell everybody, then the ones that are supposed to see won't see. That's how God's kingdom works. Speak to any evangelist and he'll tell you that. They go out and they tell the story. And the people, God touches people and they get saved. It's the same thing. Okay, so wakeuporelse.com, click the donate link. There's a link in the chat pinned at the top. And I want to thank those who have been contributing. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere, and I'm committed to this. I don't have anything else. Okay, I've lost everything, and I've tried to walk away from this a couple of times, and it was just impossible. It was like Paul said. I've not been disobedient to the heavenly vision. All right, but I'm going to need help. I'm telling you. I'm just asking you all to feel me out. You know, guys know me. I'm here 7 years. We know how absolutely mission critical this is. The Bible's changing. Right? The Bible is like mangled, and the pastors are up there. Turn with me in your Bible to blah, blah, blah. And my text today is, and Jehovah will beat off his fruit. Oh my gosh. You know, like, what are we supposed to think? The preachers that are supposedly the learned ones, the ones that are talking down to us, trying to tell us we're biblically illiterate, and then they can't even see these landmines, these piles of steaming excrement in their Bible. 2 men in a bed, 2 women grinding, female sheep, offering turtles to God in Leviticus 12:8 in the King James Bible. Turtles! You can offer turtles to God, Mr. KJV only preserved word Baptist preacher. You can offer turtles to your God in the Old Testament. It's not a modernization. It's not a translation confusion. How can it be a translation confusion if you don't read any other translations? If you're a KJV only, preserved word, strict, conservative, fundamentalist Baptist preacher, you don't read other translations. So you can't be confused, and it can't be a modernization because it's in the 1611. You're stuck. And the fact that you've never noticed that the Bible teaches that you can sacrifice turtles is an absolute proof that you have a Bible that's been changed. So we're here as a community in this moment in time when this is taking place and the majority of our brothers and sisters aren't aware of it. And like Dave said, if you're talking to debating the people that are really adamant, the globers who are debating flat earthers, your chances of converting them is slim to none. But in our case, the pastors are over the flocks, aren't probably going to get converted either, but we can make such a noise, and this is already happening, that they're being forced out into the open. The Dean Odals and the Coffee with Jesus guy, I can't remember his name. What's his name? And all these guys are just breathlessly trying to come up with answers to our obvious observations, which they can't. And what will happen is that God will send me more Paul Grafton Holtz, and he'll send me more, I don't want to say visible people with visible ministries, large ministries will decide to throw in their entire lot. In other words, they'll have integrity and they'll go public. And once that happens, it's a tipping point. We will be prosecuting and overseeing a ministry that will have some of the most profound impact on the body of Christ, possibly. I don't know. A Trinitarian, Go-Kart Bob is asking me if I'm a Trinitarian. Anyway, so that's where we're going. And I appreciate everybody listening to me all the time over these 7 years. It's been an interesting ride. I don't know how much time we have with all of the things taking place in the world. And, all the censorship and economies collapsing and war and all those fun things. But I'm not going to base my decisions on what might happen. I've done that before, and it doesn't go well. So we're going to be doing a talk with Ernie from Harbinger of the Hearts and Mark over on Rumble. And we're going to be talking about whether or not the monkey juice is the mark. And also the other topic we're going to cover is not seeing the Bible changes a salvation issue? But we're going to do it on Rumble so we can speak our minds, not have to worry about censorship. And then I've got another one I'm going to do hopefully in the next week, this week. So look for that. Vincent Rhodes. Thank you, Justin. Or Justine. Yes, you're done with him. Yeah, it's really sad that normally, intelligent people that seem to have integrity just go off on this topic, and they take the snarky personal attack approach right from the beginning because they don't really have any good arguments. And essentially, they don't have any responses to our observations. All right, so God bless you guys. I'm glad I had this chance to bring Dave on because he is really something, and we'll be talking more on this topic as we go forward. So bless you all, and we'll see you soon. Okay, have a great rest of your week, and talk to you soon. God bless.